So kind of cool layout. Quite like it. Shower. Quite a decent sized shower with lots of thingies. I've got a curtain rail here. Bits and pieces. And then a bed with a little tiny shelf that goes across the view. These cool windows that you get, you know, across the top. They've got a made shelf in the. I think the walls are pretty thick, eh? But, yeah, small space, but works really well. TV up there, light behind this one. This is the albergue that gave me the free charger last night. Yeah, worked a treat. So that was great. Just need to pick up another one for Kerry's phone and watch this morning. There's a phone car shop down here, opens at 10. At Sleepy Villages, didn't show you, we were talking to a young couple. I think they might be from Russia, I don't know. They're very, very pleasant. Just travelling all the time. I mean, really young, mid-20s I think. But beautiful views out across the sea and to the mountains on the other side. And then we've been going through little villages on little sleepy lanes. Grain stores everywhere, which surprisingly vary in design. There seems to be the local one, sort of slabs of granite. Although we've seen a couple of precast concrete ones. And I'm wondering whether we're going to see anybody like we will see them in Portugal when we drive home. But they're upright there. Oh, another donkey. And he's the boy. We've seen Mum. Just see the sea over there. Today is supposed to be a day where most of the day we can see the sea at some point. We're just cutting across the sort of headland from one side to the other at the moment. Just popped out the other side after a wee climb. Seen the sea again, which I think's near a cockerel in the woods, which is a bit of a surprise because it doesn't look like it's a dwelling in there, but it must be. Or there's a wild cockerel. Wow. I love Spain, look at this. Little logs being fed in there on a chain. Walking through the middle of a factory, it's like, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Can you hear the wind in the trees? Isn't that gorgeous? If you get a chance, you get some pine needles on the side of the road, walk them. Just a lovely sound, super soft. It's lovely. Difference between walking on these and walking on a tarmac is just immense. Look at this. I don't think there's anything on that beach. If there is, then there's hundreds of others. Are you going all the way to, have you gone from Muxia to Fisterra? Is that your plan today? That's a long walk, yeah. There's a really nice, don't need to salt this beef, comes ready salted. I think you might have picked up a little bit of that conversation with a pilgrim. That just happens multiple times every day. That's unusual because you was walking the other way, but normally you walk together. And so sometimes it's only for 2 minutes, sometimes it's for, you know, the whole day, 4 or 5 hours. Amazing how often it's in cafes. You sit down and have 20 minutes for somebody in a cafe, and then you meet them a little bit later on, another cafe, and another 20 minutes, and then you meet them maybe that night in the albergue or in a restaurant. You sit down for an hour or so, and you see them out on the road the next day on the trail, walking the Camino, and you're suddenly lifelong friends. It's one of the magic bits of the Camino, the people you meet and the stories you share. Just look at all these flowers. Seems to be quite a bit of commercial forestry, and then just a bit of very, camera, focus on it, you can do it. Here we go. Just look at these meadows, they're everywhere. The only place Chief Ernie Whittenstall's little farm at River Cottage, they've got some old wildflower meadows. I've not been up there, but if you go up Steps Bridge, just to the left there, I think Devon Wildlife Trust has got a farm that they've restored the meadows to these wildlife meadows. I mean, they're just insanely pretty. Can you imagine what the meat would taste like from animals reared on that? Just keep seeing new beaches, and a lot of them have got motor caravans on. I would guess it seems to be really motor caravan friendly around here. I think we're away from, well, I guess the biggest conurbation is Santiago, which I think are 100k. There we go. Yeah. It's a pretty stand of Scots pines. Don't normally see them so upright and so mature. Usually just a few of them on the top of a hill that are twisted by the wind. It's a beautiful smell in it. A really soft earth and pine needle trail to walk on. All the ferns, bracken, all the bracken. There we go. Cut my hand many a time on those, making dens in the woods as a child. Lovely little fields. We're clearing here with 3-4 fields in. A mixture of eucalyptus and Scots pine. I haven't seen the sea for a little while, but it's been really nice walking through the pine forest, and I suspect that the sea's going to pop out again in a minute. It's just that I left somewhere. Picked up a really nice, well I didn't pick up, took a photo. Somebody left a little note on top of one of the markers. It's something along the lines of, you can't choose what music life plays you, but you can choose how you dance to it. I thought, oh, yeah, I like that. These bellflowers are pretty, aren't they? I don't know if you can see it, but got the meadows up there. Just gone through a whole series of little hamlets, little farms. There was a farm shed in there with a tractor and bits and pieces, and an old boy just sat down, nice and cool. Oh, I might put my hands in the fountain to cool off. Like this for a rural valley. Almost like time forgot. More onions down there. Little village we're staying in. I was trying to figure out if I can because they wooden clad it a little bit. There we go. That's the place we're staying in, which is very nice. A nice sleepy feel. Yeah, but we've got to do a 20-minute walk down the estuary to get to the beach. A local swim. It's pretty clear there. So I can go for a swim here. The guidebook said there's a big fish farm just up here in a minute, on the opposite bank. So I said you need to be out in the sea to get past. Yeah, so fish farms, well there we go, it's modern intensive agriculture, or aquaculture. But, so we've got lots of problems with parasites and the feces from the fish. It's a really inefficient way of getting protein. They largely take soya protein. I can't remember what the ratio is. It's something ridiculous. Yeah, I can find out. Doing my quick googling. So beef's the worst, but of course that's intensive beef production. I'm someone that will stand up and fight the corner for beef. So 8 kilos of feed for a kilo of beef meat. But you know, I would argue that we shouldn't be producing beef intensively. It should be produced extensively out on grass, and the grass they're best off eating is on poorland upland farms that where you can't grow crops. So actually there's no, either you farm it for nature or preserve it for nature, or if you want to produce some sort of meat. So yeah, average about 8 for beef, 4 for pigs, a little bit under 2 for chickens, and And salmon farming is pretty good. It's about between 1.2 and 2.5 at seeing the argument I've heard before is that you've grown, I think they largely use soya protein. So you've grown the soya protein, which we can consume as is. And then it's gone and fed to fish. And then what tends to happen is these intensive fish farms have great problems with parasites, which affect the local water quality. Johnny Boy will be the one to tell you all about it. And then of course, like any livestock, they're going to poo a lot. So all the sediment from that. So I know up in Scotland and Norway, they keep moving the fish farm periodically so that lessens the impact on the environment. And then I guess the other bit is, we're in Galicia. It's not a timber. I'm going to make some. It's a bit like that smelting works we went past. But somehow you got to try and provide a livelihood for the local people, so they can go and they got some cracking water quality here. Go and grow some fish. Insatiable demand for fish and shrimps and stuff. But, maybe it's a really cool thing. Beaches here are insane. Most of the places seem to allow motor caravans, but this was a road that doesn't. There's supposed to be a little bar up here, but I think unfortunately it's really closed. But that's not the reason we're going. But if we could have a swim and a beer, well, there we go. I feel like telling him, go and cast your rod in the fish farm. You have much better success. Wow. I lost someone in the carrier. I can remember watching one of, I think it's actually Kevin McLeod's, although it ought to have been it ought to be a Ben Fogle one. I don't think it was. I think it was Kevin McLeod. And they're up in Isla Harris on the Outer Hebrides. And a couple had gone there for their honeymoon, and it had been weather like this. And so he built the most incredible house. Just kind of disappears into the hill. He'd used natural granite for all the uprights. It's lots of glass. But in between the glass were just the natural rocks that weren't hewn. He just left them as round boulders. I guess they were hewn on the inside to allow them to fit the glazed planes and things, but not on the outside. It was absolutely stunning. Wow, this is going to be a fun. Current's going to race through there. Oops. Videoing and walking up. Interesting. Anyhow. The weather was okay when he was up there, and he said, well, how often do you get those magic summers? Because I think they've been married 60 years, and every year they've got a house up there. Every year they go up there, and they said, oh yeah, we had one on the honeymoon. So I wonder whether Galicia's like that, whether we're just being spoilt, but the weather is just nuts, isn't it? Well, we're going to bring our motor caravan down and find out. Lucy came down, my eldest, with my motor caravan, and they met us for our wedding anniversary. That's why I'm going for a swim. And they came in to Santander, and they wanted to go to Galicia where we are now, but it was a 6 or 7 hour drive, just one way. So I didn't have the time. It's expensive to go and catch the ferry, which is absolutely magic. Brittany Ferries down. So Plymouth down to Santander. Oh, no, dogs on the beach. It's got to be a winning beach. A funny picture a while back on Facebook, and they added some dogs, and the dogs looked like they didn't want to go on the beach, and the beach was covered in the debris from humans. And they said, yeah, the beach is kind of okay, but it's just trying to find, where you can walk on the beach. The reverse of what you're normally told about dogs. Look at this. Oh, surfer dude. I swam, you can see just on the outside of those rocks. I went up the island. It's super shallow here, but it's all really rocky and there's a bit of a current going through. So it's just, the water's so lovely. Once you got in, you can stay in for as long as you like. Ooh, look at this. Surfy loose, we see some cars down the road down there. Looks like, well, not really a village, but I think it might be a car park just there next to the blue house. It must have been the beaches that we walked along. Oh, and I can see the mast. So that's the lighthouse at Fisterra. And it's so warm. I'm still in my swim shorts without a shirt on. Although the wind's a bit fresh, as you can probably tell. But the bar's closed, which Google had warned me. But I brought some money just in case.